Mission Impossible Fallout is the 6th film in the Mission Impossible film series, and oh man, I wasn't gonna do this so early in the movie. I was telling myself to save it for later, but I gotta say it now. I can't hold it any longer. This is my favorite film in the Mission Impossible franchise. I'm serious. I love this movie. It's so good. Okay, calm down. I still got a review to do. So Mission Impossible Fallout is a direct sequel to the previous film Rogue Nation. And in the beginning of this film, Ethan Hunt and his team have to obtain some plutonium from the black market. And as things tend to do, they go wrong. And Hunt decides to save one of his teammates instead of going after the plutonium. So the plutonium ends up getting stolen. Now he has to get that plutonium back in order to prevent terrorists from setting up some nuclear bombs. And in order to get that plutonium back, he needs to cut a deal where he has to save the very person he put in prison in the last film, Solomon Lane, the villain from Rogue Nation. Now, this movie is just an intense, white-knuckling, grab your armrest kind of movie, and it just, once it gets a hold of you, it just doesn't let go. Man, I'm serious. I had to go pee in the middle of this movie, and I was just waiting for that moment for the film to just kind of relax and let me catch my breath, but I couldn't do it. From about halfway in the film to the end, I held my pee in because I couldn't miss a single second of this movie. You know, director Christopher McQuarrie, you don't really think of him when you immediately think of the best action directors today, but after Rogue Nation and Fallout, you have to put his name up there. The action and the movie in general is just so beautifully shot. There's so many breathtaking wide angle lens shots, and the action is just so superbly shot. The framing, the choreography. I mean, Tom Cruise, how can you not give this guy some props, man? I mean, he's like in his mid-50s and he's jumping out of airplanes, hanging off helicopters, doing a motorcycle chase through the streets of Paris, doing a major fist fight brawl in the bathroom, and it's just one piece to the next, and it doesn't let you breathe, and it's like, oh man, it just doesn't let go, and it's so engrossing, it's so captivating, this movie. And Tom Cruise, please, man, I need you to make more of these type of movies before you go all Danny Glover and say you're too old for this shit. You are the man, Tom Cruise. And if you thought his stunts before in Ghost Protocol, where he was climbing that edge of that building, or in Rogue Nation where he hung off the side of the airplane, you thought those are crazy? He does some crazy ass shit in this film that will make you forget those easily. And I love to watch Tom Cruise run. If you're a fan of his running like I am, then there's tons of that for you too. And you know, some critics of the previous films were saying that the film franchise is too focused on Ethan Hunt. It's not about the team element like the old TV show was. So for those people who thought that, this film fixes that problem, because this film is very much concentrating on the team element. Ving Rhames is back. You got Simon Pegg coming back as Benji. You got Rebecca Ferguson, who was one of the best things about the previous movie, playing Ilsa, the British spy. She's back, and they smartly given her a much bigger role in this time around. And even Alec Baldwin gets in on the action as well. Henry Cavill is one of the major new elements introduced to the film franchise. And quite honestly, I didn't really buy into his performance as much as the others. There were some scenes where his acting was somewhat awkward, I thought, so I thought he could have been a little bit better. He wasn't bad by any means, but he just could have been a little more memorable, I think. Physically, yeah, he's got the big beefcake body, he fits into his character really well, but just the delivery of his lines was just a little off for me sometimes. And I love that they brought back Sean Harris. I thought he was a great villain in the previous movie, and they brought him back and he's even more nefarious. He's got this whole revenge plot against Ethan Hunt, which I thought really worked well for the overall story. So Fallout just has everything working. And if I had to nitpick, yes, there were a few flaws in the movie. Some of the plot lines were very predictable, and there were at least one, maybe two moments in the film where you really had to suspend some disbelief. And there are very minor flaws. They didn't take away from my enjoyment of the overall film, obviously, but I do remember them and they do kind of stick in my brain. So I can't give this movie a perfect 10 score, but it's easily my favorite film of the entire Mission Impossible franchise. It's smart, it's funny, it's action-packed, it's intense, it's thrilling, it's everything you want in an action movie. And please, Tom Cruise, like I said, make as many of these as you can before you get too old, please. So Mission Impossible Fallout for me gets a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching my review. If you want to see more movie reviews in the future, please subscribe to my channel, MC on Film.